It's pretty crazy to think that we've already gotten 2 entire MCU shows. I mean, granted, in a normal year, in a normal world, we would have already gotten, 3 or 4 of the MCU shows plus 2 or 3 of the movies, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just be grateful for what we did get. And what we did get was WandaVision and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. By the time this video comes out, we will be about halfway through Loki. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I am really enjoying it so far, and I can't wait to see where this series ends up. But today, we are going to be talking about the first 2 entries into Phase 4 of the MCU, and why I think that they both made the same big mistake. Now, before we get on any further, I have to give a few disclaimers. Number 1, this video will contain heavy spoilers for WandaVision and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If you have not seen those series all the way through, then please save this video to watch later and come back to it after you've seen it, and then we will be ready to talk spoilers. Number 2, if you haven't subscribed and want to join the Access Blockbusters crew, then make sure to subscribe, give this video a like, and join our community. We are a bunch of film-loving fans who love talking all things movies, blockbusters, shows, you name it, we got it. So make sure to subscribe, and without further ado, let's talk about WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So before I even start talking about what that mistake was, I think it's important to just give some background on my expectations of the shows, and I think the expectations of many in general. When Disney announced that they were launching Disney Plus and Kevin Feige announced that they were going to be launching TV shows to go along with the movies in the MCU, I think a lot of us were tentatively excited, but maybe a little skeptical. Can the MCU work in television at the same time? I mean, of course, we're all going to be watching every single episode of television that comes out, but is the mainstream audience going to be watching them? Are a lot of people going to be confused when the movies come out? How is this experiment going to work? Well, flash forward after WandaVision, and I think it was pretty clear that while, yes, not everybody who would have gone to see Black Widow went to see WandaVision on Disney+, it became a big cultural and pop culture hit. I think a lot of people were on board with the idea. I think the same went for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I think you're seeing the same thing with Loki. People are just on board with Marvel at this point. I don't think that the idea of reachability and mass appeal is a problem for Marvel anymore. That being said, Marvel didn't just make mass appeal shows. I mean, granted, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier had a lot of big blockbustery moments like flashy action, explosions, quips, humor, but it also was trying to tell a deeper and, I think, darker story about America's past and how we move forward with a black man being Captain America. In a world where he may not be accepted, it was a deep philosophical look into how Sam Wilson was able to courageously take the mantle from Steve Rogers, and I loved it. I thought it was great. And similarly with WandaVision, I think we didn't expect to see the level of depth and emotion that we got from the show, but after episode 8 and after the ending of episode 9, I think we all just realized Marvel is capable of more. They are capable of something extraordinary. All that being said, I can make a whole series of videos about what Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision both did right, and there are a lot of things. So if you want to see those videos, let me know in the comments down below. But today we're going to focus in on a mistake. In my eyes, it's not enough to derail the shows, and I think the shows are both wonderful with this mistake or without it, but it is glaring nonetheless. And I think it's something that a lot of people have talked about. And so it's not necessarily the mistake that I want to talk about and just reveal to everybody, but rather why it didn't work and how they could have fixed it. And that mistake is obviously the finale. Now, leading up to the finale, we had episode 8 of WandaVision, and we had episode 5 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I don't know about you guys, but those 2 episodes were probably my 2 favorite episodes in each of the respective series, especially episode 8 of WandaVision. That episode blew me away. I was shocked at how much emotional depth I was able to feel from Wanda, especially that scene in Avengers Compound when she and Vision are talking. It was breathtakingly and beautifully done. Similarly, with episode 5 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you just took a breath after a bunch of action and fighting, and you just got to see Sam struggle with the idea of becoming the new Captain America, and his conversation with Isaiah Bradley was profound. It was, again, beautifully done, and it was so well scripted. I think those 2 episodes showed what Marvel can really do if they're allowed to go in depth. And so heading into the finales of each of the series, we were excited. We were just so ready to see the culmination and just laugh and cry and clap at all the great moments that were going to come. And then the finales happened. And, well, at least for me, I just forgot about them pretty quickly. And to me, that was a little disappointing. Now, again, hear me when I say that the finale being disappointing for me didn't make the show bad. That just doesn't make sense. I mean, I didn't even say the episodes were bad. I enjoyed the episodes. I just thought they were disappointing. But just because I thought that one episode was disappointing doesn't mean that the entire show that came before, which, by the way, for both of them, I thought were great, doesn't diminish what happened before in the previous 5 and the previous 8 episodes. It doesn't. But the finale, and I don't think I'm alone in sharing the sentiment, was vastly disappointing to me, and it turned what could have been a memorable, whopping, emotional finale into just something forgettable. And as a result, the entire series sort of just fell off a cliff at the end. Not in a bad way. It just sort of felt like it was heading for this emotional, explosive climax, and then all of a sudden it just fell off. And I sort of forgot about it at the end. So when I think back of WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, I don't think about the finale at all. I hardly do. I think about all the great moments in between. Now again, this isn't news to anybody, right? I think a lot of my viewers were maybe not as thrilled with the finale as they'd hoped they'd be. And a lot of critics that I listened to were also not super happy with the finale as compared to the rest of the show. None of them said it was bad per se, they just weren't super thrilled with it, and that's okay. And first of all, before I get into anything about WandaVision specifically or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I just want to say, no, we are not talking about Ralph in depth. Look, I understand. I am one of those people who was greatly disappointed with the whole Evan Peters situation, and barring some great retcon in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I think that is going to come away as one of the biggest mistakes that show made, amidst a bunch of awesome, wonderful, zany pieces of storytelling. But again, just because one element disappointed you, even in a big way, doesn't necessarily mean the entire show is null and void. If you enjoyed episodes 1 through 8 but hated the Ralph twist, well, I don't think that nullifies your overall enjoyment of the show. So I just wanted to put that out there before I get any further. But today I'm going to lay out 4 reasons why both the finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision were disappointing. Here we go. Reason number 1, too many things. When I was entering the finale of both WandaVision and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I said in my reviews, look, I am so excited to see what happens at the end. There are so many awesome, potentially big storylines that can come to a head, and I just can't wait to see what happens. But I said in both of my reviews for the penultimate episodes, I am worried. I am very worried because there are a lot of things going on here. I mean, heading into WandaVision's finale, you had Monica Rambeau, you had the twins, you had Agatha Harkness, you had the Scarlet Witch, you had Vision, you had White Vision, you had Darcy Lewis, you had Hayward, you had, at the time at least we thought, the aerospace engineer, you had Ralph. How is it all going to get resolved in one finale episode? I didn't know. And I went in thinking, okay, well, let's see what happens. With The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it was pretty similar. You had John Walker as U.S. agent running around, and now he has a new Captain America shield, and what side is he even on? You obviously had Sam being Captain America, you had Bucky, you had the Wakandans and Zemo, who basically got omitted from the finale altogether, even though at the end it was revealed that Zemo did everything, which, okay, sure. You had the Flag Smashers, you had Sharon Carter, you had the Super Soldier Serums, you just had too many things going into the finale. And look, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because television, and we'll get to television in just a second, but television in general allows you to explore many different subplots and ideas and storylines that you normally can't in a 2-hour film. That being said, it doesn't excuse you from not being able to set those all up and then finish them out at the end. And unfortunately for both WandaVision and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I don't think they successfully could. I think what happened at the end, if you saw those 2 episodes, was that they saw how much they had set up and they realized, okay, well, we have to end it somehow. And so they just started tying up loose ends willy-nilly here and there. Like, for example, with the Evan Peters situation, they were just like, okay, well, he's gone. Joke. Darcy Lewis, barely in the finale. Monica Rambeau, not really in the finale. The twins, kind of just weird projections, but also hinting at something else that they never explored. By Wanda saying, thanks for choosing me to be your mom. White Vision just flies away at the end, although the scene between Vision and White Vision was awesome. The fight between Agatha Harkness and Scarlet Witch lasted 2 seconds, and it was not super great, to be honest. Agatha Harkness just kind of disappeared at the end. I mean, she got reverted back into a townsfolk, and that's it. And it just felt lackluster to me. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. John Walker comes back and he's a good guy? What? Sharon Carter is the power broker? Where in the world did this come from? And honestly, look, the setup isn't bad. Unfortunately, the writers just didn't know where they wanted to end the finales. Now, the second reason, and this sort of ties into what I was talking about with just too many things going on, the second reason that I think the finales were disappointing is simply the nature of television. Now, look, I have said over and over and over again for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it would have benefited so much from being released all at once. And I know financially and for social media presence, it doesn't make sense to do that. I get it. But narratively speaking, I would have just loved to have seen all of the episodes all at once. And here's why. It's not our fault that we started theorizing and making all these theories about the aerospace engineer and about Monica Rambeau and about all these sorts of different things with Evan Peters, because that's just what we do as fans. We like to speculate and make theories. Now, granted, a lot of us got our expectations up way too high, and so maybe this is a lesson for us, but making theories in the first place, that's not our fault. Because think about it. If WandaVision was one long movie, we would be sitting in the theater and we would obviously be theorizing to ourselves, but the thought of, oh, the multiverse, Evan Peters, Quicksilver, that would pass in about 15 seconds, and about 15 minutes later you would realize, oh no, wait, he's not the multiverse X-Men. Movies and television are just different. And you have to adjust for that. And I think that WandaVision sort of started to get it. They were sort of capitalizing on us being like, okay, they're going to speculate. I mean, Jimmy Woo was writing theories on a whiteboard. Like, they understood what they were giving us. Unfortunately, they also didn't understand the consequences of what they were giving us, because while all the theorizing was great, the finale that they ended up delivering was underwhelming to a lot of people. I'm not saying that's Marvel's fault, I'm not saying that that's our fault, but I'm saying that that did contribute, I think, to the finales being disappointing. The second thing about the nature of television that I wanted to talk about is just simply the fact that it's shorter. Look, I said in my WandaVision review that basically the only way that the finale could have been satisfying and tied up all those loose ends from earlier is either you just have everything go rapid, quick, or the finale was going to be 2 hours long. The finale was about 40 minutes long, and unfortunately, you just can't do all of that in 40 minutes. I mean, you've been building up this entire time for this grand finale that has all these storylines coming together, and you make the finale the same length as all the rest of the episodes, if not a little bit shorter. And that's disappointing, because there's just not enough time to wrap up everything nicely. The third reason, and this again ties back to everything, I think all of my reasons sort of tie in together with each other, is they didn't keep their promises for a lot of things. Yes, I am talking about the aerospace engineer, and yes, I am talking about Ralph, but not in the way that you think. I didn't care, honestly, if the aerospace engineer was John Krasinski or if it was just some random SHIELD or SWORD agent. I didn't care if Evan Peters' Ralph was actually the Quicksilver from the X-Men universe. I have been on record about saying that. I didn't care. Would I have been excited? Absolutely. But did I care? No, because I wanted what was best for the story and what was satisfying in terms of the narrative. And what they sort of hinted at and promised throughout the show is, okay, we are going to be revealing a lot about this Ralph character. We are going to be revealing, look, we have this Evan Peters playing this Ralph guy. We have this aerospace engineer that's going to go help us, and it turns out to be some random lady. Okay, fine. We have Hayward, who's just sort of there and being evil, and is there something bigger to him? I don't know. Turns out he just gets arrested at the end. I'm not saying that Marvel came out and explicitly said, okay guys, we promise you that Hayward's a Skrull. Watch. And then he wasn't. That's not what happened. But I'm saying that they set up a lot of different things to land in a certain way, and unfortunately, they just didn't. And the things that they thought were going to land, I don't think landed either. For example, I mean, we all love the song Agatha All Along, but it wasn't Agatha all along. And that's just a problem, because you can't just have this payoff and be like, look, guys, this is our payoff. This is our conclusion to the problem that we have been setting up for 7 episodes, and then just go, but it's something completely different. You just shouldn't do that. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the same, and this leads to my fourth and final reason, which is missed characterizations and oddly inconsistent tone at the end. With The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you had John Walker. And John Walker, while we loved to hate the character, I thought was a wonderfully done character and played brilliantly and wonderfully by Wyatt Russell. I thought the character was just done so well because there are so many shades of gray to him, and you understand his motivation so perfectly that he was setting up to be just a great villain or a great anti-hero. And then he comes out in the finale and is a villain? Carly Morgenthau. At the end, look, I have been on record and saying I just did not like the character of Carly, but I get where they were going with her. And so in the finale, when she was about to fight Sam, I was like, okay, let's see how this happens. But then when she gets all emotional and says, fight me, fight me, fight me, as if we are expected to care on the same level of Captain America and Bucky fighting in the Winter Soldier, with Bucky saying, fight me, and Cap saying, no, I won't. It was supposed to be a parallel to that, and I just said, I don't understand how you expect us to care about this. I don't. Sharon Carter being the power broker. What? And in terms of inconsistent tone, the ending of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier all of a sudden turned this dramatic, action-heavy, yes, but also philosophical show into just a generic action finale. WandaVision's finale turned the first 8 episodes, which were discussing grief in such a beautiful and poignant way, into just a generic Marvel action finale, at least until the goodbye scene. I will say that in WandaVision's finale, the goodbye scene was beautiful. And I will say in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier that Sam's speech at the end was awesome. But the finales in general were so inconsistent in tone to the rest of the show, and that's why it felt so off. Now look, at the end of the day, like I have said, does this mean I dislike The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and I dislike WandaVision? Absolutely not. If you take that away from this video, you clearly were not paying attention. But, and especially from things that we enjoy, I think that it is so fair and so valid that we can point out things that we didn't like. And I think the finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision set a worrying trend. Can the MCU stick the landing in its television shows? Because they were great to begin with, but they can be even better. We are midway through Loki at this point, I think. I actually don't know when this video is coming out, so I hope we are midway through Loki. I'm planning on it. And while Loki has set up a great first few episodes and a great setup and great characters, can it stick the landing? It's not a secret to anybody that I am worried about it now. I am actively thinking about, okay, I am watching this great episode 1. I loved episode 1 of Loki, but I just don't know if they can keep this up. It's in the back of my mind constantly. But if Marvel can figure out how to stick the landings for their TV shows, man, can they become something truly special. So those were my thoughts on the finales of the WandaVision series and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. What did you guys think of my analysis? Let me know in the comments down below. If you would like to join the ABC, the Access Blockbusters crew, please consider subscribing and give this video a like. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to check out some more videos, check out the videos on the screen right now. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.